Item 8, Diamond Harbour Wharf upgrade. Welcome, Andrew and Sylvia. I'll get you to go over this and also just talk to your engagement with Ngāti Wheki too, please.
Sure. Quick introduction. I guess the upgrade of the Diamond Harbour Wharf has been a topic for quite a few years now. There's an increasing number of people using the ferry for transport purposes. Essentially, this report is requesting that we move a preferred concept through to a detailed design phase, so there's a lot more work to do yet, and that will enable us to get accurate costings as well, and that will come back to the committee for endorsement before we proceed on to the next stage. Sylvia, would you like to comment on the consultation with Ngāti Wheki?
Certainly. So last year we initially made contact with Ngāti Wheki to share with them an outline of the project, give an outline of the project scope. We also shared with them the draft concept. Later then that was followed up as we started to prepare the resource consent application. Our environmental consultant was following up discussions and providing updates on the project as it progressed. The feedback from Ngāti Wheki has been that they note that this is a small-scale project. The next steps that we would look to following today's decision would be to finalise the draft resource consent application, which would be shared with Ngāti Wheki for their comment before being submitted.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Yanni?
Have we approached NZTA for funding?
I think Richard will be able to answer that question.
I'm not aware whether they've been approached or not, but some of this project, given it has a public transport component to it, may be eligible for NZTA funding. So that's a discussion we need to have with them. And if the approval is gone, if the approval was given today to go through the detailed design, that's a discussion we can have with them.
Right, and just under 7.1, I do find it particularly hard to follow our budget process when we're not given the project ID. So can you just tell me, in terms of our long-term plan or our annual plan, what the project ID is that's paying for this, and
We'd
what
have to
years?
come back to you on. Are you talking about our CPMS project ID?
It just says, like, preliminary cost estimates received during concept develop indicate that the project will be delivered within existing harbour and marine structures budget.
Yeah.
Is there an actual? I'm just trying to understand where the money's coming from. Is there an actual
Right.
Diamond Harbour?
Do you want to know the extent of the budget or the project ID number?
Well, is there a specific project for the Diamond Harbour Bridge in our long-term plan
Yes,
that is
there is.
paying for this?
Yes, there is.
Yeah. So just in future, could we reference that project ID? Because just the report makes it seem like there's another budget that's paying for lots of other things in terms of harbour and marine structures. But if there's a discrete budget for this, it'd be quite helpful to know what year the money's in and what the project ID is. So I don't know if that's...
Yeah, so there's money in this year and there's also money in the long-term plan. But we can, when we bring back the detailed design, we'll absolutely bring back all of the funding details. Yep.
Right.
So there is money on budget, as referred to.
But it's specifically for this project, not for any of the other marine structures.
There are two budgets. There is an explicit one for Diamond Harbour,
Yeah.
but there's also a program budget
Okay.
for wharf renewal. So there's two elements to this project. One is the pontoon, and the other is the renewal of the wharf. So they can be funded from both streams.
Okay.
But once we have the detailed costings, that's when we'll bring back that level of detail.
Okay. Thanks.
So just to reiterate, this project won't proceed beyond a design without further endorsement.
Yeah. And you've got my amendment as well. Thanks.
Do you want me to put that up?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, could we put up Yanni's amendment?
And I think Jake's agreed to second it. Do you want me to speak to it now or wait? Others might have questions. I'll wait for others to have questions. You can take other questions now if you want.
Does anyone have questions on this? I'm going to have to write the whole thing out. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that.
All right. You're going to rule it out of order, are you?
I'm going to rule it out of order.
Okay. That's
You
a
can,
shame.
you can say what it was.
Yeah, so I was trying to, I think actually we should be building a bridge, so I was going to move that we actually build a bridge because it's much more sustainable and it reduces the carbon emissions. Yeah, from Stoddard Point to the Littleton Harbour. Well, that's to be sourced out of the marine structures budget.
Or do you want to second it?
Stoddard Point, from
Diamond
Diamond
to
Harbour
Littleton.
across to Littleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out of order anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it'd be
interesting that Yanni's raised this before we've had the opportunity to discuss it at our community board, but I imagine there would be some support.
But it's been ruled out of order, so we can't progress it, which is a shame.
And it is.
Are we still on it?
All right.
Anyhow,
Okay.
I think you got a couple of people, Yanni. Anyhow, first of April.
Move on. Cool. Sorted. All right.
Andrew, you'd like to. There's no more questions.
It's Bourbon Airport, we can fly over.
Okay. Andrew, you would like to move this?
Oh, Ian missed it.
Do we have someone that wants to? I'll second it. Okay, debate. Andrew.
Thank you. I mean, as noted, this project's been planned and looked forward to by the community for a very long time. This represents significant safety and accessibility improvements, and we've got to bear in mind that this is an important piece of public transport infrastructure. It may have recreational use, but its principal purpose is a piece of PT infrastructure. There have been a number of incidents, a number of near misses and a number of safety issues in the past, particularly with the stairs down to the ferry, particularly when there are rough seas and the ferry's moving against the steps or when the steps are wet and slippery. And what we're proposing here will absolutely address these issues. It'll actually see those stairs replaced with this gangway and pontoon. The importance of the slope of the gangway is particularly important for accessibility. If you think of people with limited mobility, people with pushchairs and so on, the gangway and its gradient is particularly important in that regard. There's very strong support in the Diamond Harbour community for what we're doing here. I was at the Diamond Harbour Community Association's AGM earlier in this week, where there were around 200 people in the room, and I had very positive feedback from the community, not only on the project itself, and there's a compliment for staff here, on the consultation and engagement processes and the way that the engagement have been conducted with the community as well. So I'm very happy to support this today, and I'm really progressing.
Aaron.
Yeah, I fully support this. And the last time I was over there, and went on that wharf, I did look at it with this lens on and considered that this is definitely needed. That part, Diamond Harbour there is also one of those what you call a mini tourism gem that a lot of people from Christchurch should go to Littleton, jump on that boat and go over just for a wee day trip, take kids, take your parents, whatever. But it is an absolute gem to go do, and I would have supported Yanni's Bridge, especially if we could have used that island in the middle of the harbour as a prison as well. Would have been, because once the prison closed lots of years later, it became a really good tourist attraction. So just let's keep our minds open.
Yanni.
Just to say, I don't know how many councillors remember the deputation we had. It must have been about 6 years ago. Yeah. And when people showed us the images of what it was like for people getting on and off the ferry, I now know someone who's now had a wee child who's, you know, when she was younger took her there on the ferry, and it is really dangerous. So I think this is a no-brainer. We need to improve the safety and the accessibility, and this project will do that. I do think we need to approach NZTA, and I don't know whether you want to formally record that, but this is a public transport project, and it would be good to try and make sure that we're maximising any opportunity for external funding from NZTA. Cool, thanks.
Pauline?
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with the Diamond Harbour Wharf from my childhood, and I'm really pleased to see that the bike shed is going to be retained. And I think that there's probably quite a few heritage items on that wharf that I'd like to be taken care of, if possible, in this process. So, but above all, I'm supportive of it because it is not safe at the moment. So well done, thank you.
Excellent. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Aye. Opposed? Carried. And we'll close the meeting with a karakia from Councillor